Should be a pretty short agenda. Keep anyone long. I know I have plans. Trying to make it quicker. Big plan. Mario Logan. Carmel Mountain Ranch. Okay. Carmel Valley.
Sure.
City Heights. Claremont.
Here.
College area.
Present.
Del Mar. Mesa. Downtown City Center. Eastern area. Encanto.
Sorry, Valley.
Yeah, Charlotte Valley. Sorry. I'm trying to get you a new. Golden Hill.
Yes.
Mesa. Kensington Talmadge.
Present.
La Jolla. Here. Linda Vista.
Here.
Midway. Miramar Ridge North. Yeah. Mira Mesa. Mission Beach. Mission Valley.
Present.
Navajo.
Here.
Normal Heights.
Yes.
North Park. Present. Ocean Beach. Here. Old Town. Otay Mesa. Otay Mesa Nestor. Pacific Beach. Peninsula.
Here.
Rancho Bernardo. Here. Rancho Penasquito.
Here.
San Pasqual. San Ysidro. Sarah Mesa.
Present.
Skyline Paradise Hills.
Here.
Southeastern. Tierra Santa. Torrey Hills. Torrey Pine. Here. University.
Here.
Uptown.
Present.
Did you get scripts that you got me at Miramar?
Yeah. Yeah. Good call. Okay, great. We'll roll right into non-agenda public comment. Does anyone have a non-agenda public comment? Come on down, council member. I'm still giving you 2 minutes, sorry.
That's okay, I don't need more than that. Won't take much of your time. Just appreciate that the District 7 folks, that Chair Santa are here. For those who haven't met me, my name is Raul Campillo. I represent District 7 on the City Council. I just wanted to come by, say thank you all so much. I was here last month. I was sitting in the back, listening to what you all had to say. ADUs, every topic really, but the ADU stuff, because I'm on the Land Use and Housing Committee. And for many of you, I know you showed up to come and advocate, wrote in everything you were doing. And I don't think you get enough appreciation as a committee, as volunteers, as people who lived here longer than I've lived here, to say what you want to see. And I've said all my comments about the things we need to look at for safety and all that stuff, and I'll leave that to the side. Really, I just wanted to take a few minutes to say, I realize what a sacrifice you all make to be part of this. First, you show up to your committee, your actual community meeting, your CPG meeting, and then you show up, then you folks show up to this. And I know it's not the two, you usually work with one or two of your vice chairs or somebody to prepare your comments. And as a council member, I really think that there's not enough of my colleagues who recognize that. I'm sure they know it, but they don't recognize it. And if fundamentally we're going to be a responsible government, I want you to know that while I can't promise I'll get every single amendment you want, I can certainly make sure that we get some things that you're pointing out that they are the right ideas. And they are the result of a democratic process, which is you all talking to neighbors, bringing it together, distilling it, Kensington Talmadge, thank you, and really making sure that the city council members know it. And I've seen what the effects you've had are. A lot of your ideas were put in. I know not enough of your ideas were put in, but I want you to know I was not here last month to just sit there, but to see what you guys do. It's the first time I really saw it with my own eyes, and I'm just here to say thank you. Appreciate you.
Okay, any other? Yeah,
I do, Councilmember, you mentioned, ADUs, I think the communities have made progress on that. I think maybe the breaking point was the 14+ unit in Claremont. And of course, taking advantage of some of the larger lots in Forest Valley and Campbell. So the planning commission, it's not easy to get through to, but I think we did. They said, gee, how do we go from a 1 flat to a 15? And well, beyond it, it was a 40 unit, and I think 40 unit proposal. So they went along with changes. Councilmember Campillo certainly helpful, land use and health. So I believe the next meeting is June 16th, the city council. And I think the Forest Valley will be ready to go with the other T-shirts and so forth. I would encourage anyone who wants to weigh in on that. The contract, the Forest Valley Chair or Jeff Uter, neighbors for Battery San Diego. Those two groups have been the leaders. And I want to mention though, not enough has been said about affordability. You know, I've been in community planning for 25 years. I've never heard one person say they're trying to keep someone out in my neighborhood or they're opposed to people or affordable housing. But the ADU program is only 20% of the AMI, the area median income. So it's well over the median income. So you can qualify for one of those units earning 100 to 140,000, depending on family size. So clearly, a lot of the programs we have going on now are fake affordability. And I would like to make sure we all remind people of that. We're more affordable housing if it's realistic. So, yeah.
yep, Jeff.
Yeah, so obviously, I want to thank everybody for supporting the ADU measure that was proposed by CPC. I think it made a big difference that CPC put a lot of work into it, was very thoughtful about it, and made a lot of constructive advice to the council members. And I really hope, regardless of who you elect to your next chair of CPC, that chair will hopefully find time to present to the council when it comes up again on 16. The other thing I would like to bring up is behind everything we're doing now with the bonus ADU program, the city, again, always under the cover of darkness, is working on something called missing middle housing. And a lot of what's happening with missing middle housing is a concept and the kind of housing we'd like to do to innovate within single family neighborhoods is undermined with a lot of what happens with the bonus ADU program. And so what I would also recommend is we've got this issue that has to be dealt with on June 15th, but hopefully CPC can get ahead of the next thing and get a committee together the same way we did for the bonus ADU program and start working on missing middle housing and, force your way into the working group on, I don't know, I have a working group on missing middle housing and not include the people that live in the neighborhood where the projects are going to happen. That just seems to be perpetually crazy for me, but hopefully by showing a constructive engagement on this issue, take that and get the trust and force your way in too to do something on missing middle housing.
During the Festa, and I would like to give you an update on Skyline Paradise Road and the shenanigans that are going on. I would also like to find out how, if possible, I could get on this agenda 600 and policy 624 and some articles, the ones that are being consistently violated in particular, especially the election and the confusion whether planning groups have operational bylaws from page 1. People don't realize only nonprofits or corporations have bylaws. There's several issues. The other part of the complaint, what happened is Skyline Paradise Hill had a secret meeting without announcing it to the complainant, me. And they met in secret, they didn't post it anywhere. And partly was because of an email that Marlon sent to the chair that she didn't have to abide by the Brown Act. I did a public request and got about 17 of Marlon's emails. 2 of them violated council policy 624. And the policy and the operations procedure said no slate vote. It also had nothing for appointment. The chair admitted that she was never elected as chair. Someone left as chair and she was disappointed for several years without even an election. You look at the minutes, and apparently Marlon recognized this group when they had 2 people that served over 20 years consecutively without ever having a motion for a waiver. And 1 person as chair that was never, ever elected, and only 1 valid member, and the group was still recognized. And all the agendas, the minutes even show we are not having an election in 2024. We didn't have election in 2023.
Anyone else for non-agenda public comment? Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. So Rob from Choice Valley, I got a couple of hands for you guys. If you follow the news, great, this wasn't in the news. So Choice Valley, most of you know that the ADU bonus program is affecting us pretty disproportionately citywide. If you mind taking one passing down. One of the issues that our community has that many other areas of San Diego doesn't have the same issue is our lack of basic infrastructure such as sidewalks. And part of the bonus program requires pedestrian pathways. And we noticed that projects were disproportionately, we don't know, they're ministerial, right? But it looks as though they're being greenlit to be built in our neighborhood. We're talking projects of 30, 35, 40, 44 ADUs on a single lot. And they have no pedestrian pathways. And so the city was unable to provide a response to our planning group over months of asking, formally asking, informally asking. We ended up filing our own lawsuit against the city that was filed 2 weeks ago. So what you received is the cover page of the lawsuit and then our press release, which was sent to all news organizations, which had inconveniently not released anything other than OB Ray, which is pretty small time local journalism. The one thing that we could always use, of course, is more financial support. There's a link on there. And then just follow along. So spread the word. That's probably the second best thing you can do. Maybe that's the best thing you can do. And then show up on the 16th for bonus ADU reform downtown. And then we have the footnote 7 issue still affecting us. There's 2 projects. There's a smaller one and a very large one that we'll be seeing. The smaller one's going to go before the city council as well. There's been more media attention there. Hope to find out how to come to it.
I don't think in public, non-agenda public comment, you can't take time. Yeah.
I just want to express my appreciation for the minutes from the last meeting where we had inserted the phrase that not everybody can live in California. I mean, that is something that has to go all the way up to the governor's office. That what we're trying to do is actually destroying the city, the ADU process throughout the whole state, the cities throughout the whole state. We have plenty of land to build cities on. Temecula is a fine example of what was done, 30 years ago. There's lots of room in the county, and there's lots and lots of room across the entire United States. So I'm very pleased to see it in writing in the minutes.
Anyone else? Non-agenda public comment? Okay, well then, Guy, do you have, or does anyone have any changes to the minutes?
To the minutes?
Yeah. I didn't get them before I sent out the agenda.
Okay,
But if you sign up for constant contact, it should have come out. I was on vacation last week, so I only touched my laptop to make an agenda.
Oh, I wasn't.
Well, we can skip it then. Someone else is problem. Next one's probably. Okay, election of the executive board. Everyone, you should see a ballot, just everyone have a ballot in front of them. And then also Felicity wasn't here, but she has a statement as well. I'd be happy to read it to everyone if you guys don't want to read. And then I'd also be happy to invite any of the candidates who want to speak about their candidacy, a couple of minutes if they want it. Victoria, you're just in my line of sight, so.
Sure. Okay, yeah, I submitted a statement, a week ago. Andrea, an email, so I thought maybe you all have a copy of it. So I guess I'll just go ahead and read it, to you so that I can keep it short. I'm honored to be nominated for a leadership position with the Community Planners Committee. So I'm on. As a collective voice of our communities, we hold a critical responsibility in engaging with the mayor, city council members, and various government entities that shape policies impacting our city's future. As a native California, I have probably called San Diego home since 1976. After marrying my husband and becoming a Navy family, we relocated multiple times between 2002 and 2019. After returning home from an overseas assignment in Portugal, I know somebody had to do it. And with my children successfully embarking on their own journeys, I dedicated my energy, education in economics and business, and professional experience towards serving my community in meaningful ways. Over the past 4 years, I've served with the Scripps Ranch Planning Group, including 3 years as the chair. My commitment to community service extends further through my involvement with the Scripps Ranch Civic Association, the Voice of Scripps Ranch, and as a president of an HOA representing over 350 homeowners in Miramar Ranch North, which brought me to the front lines of all the ADU issues. Through my current tenure with CPC, I've actively participated in monthly board meetings, engaged in city council sessions, and advocated for Choya's Valley Encanto opposition to footnote 7 to the municipal code. Additionally, I contributed to the Land Development Code Update Ad Hoc Committee and to the Ad Hoc Bonus ADU Committee. 2 years ago, amid efforts to reform CPC structures, I collaborated with longstanding Scripps Ranch community leaders to unify the entire area under a single planning group. So we merged Miramar Ranch North and Scripps Ranch into one planning group. If elected chair, I will strengthen relationships with our city leaders and ensure that key community concerns are addressed promptly and effectively. I will foster collaboration with city staff and advance our priorities. I'm committed to engaging in city policy that affects our shared interests. I'll do the work. It would be an honor to serve a CPC in a leadership role. And I want to take a moment and thank Andrea for her outstanding leadership over the past 3 years. Her most recent efforts in the ADU bonus program reforms were particularly impactful, and she represented our collective voice with great success. So if you have any questions, free to answer questions. Otherwise, that's it.
Anyone have any questions before I move on to the next candidate? Okay, Eric, I see you right there.
Not quite so well. Eric Law from Peninsula, worked with many of you on key issues that have confronted us for the last couple of years. Specifically the grand jury work we've done, working with a number of folks here that may not be at the table here, but are, movers across the community, on issues in sustainable development areas and the ADU fight, and a number of other housing issues that have come across. My most recent background is now that this is original in the Peninsula community. I'm now the president and CEO of Protect Point Woman, which is, like many of the others here, a community advocacy program. We're right now engaged in preparing for litigation against the city or developer on sustainable development areas as they apply to the peninsula and a number of the associated components of legislation. I have a long history. I also come from a Navy family, although I was a Navy service member. I'm a retired Navy captain with about 30 years of service around the world. I started here in San Diego 35 years ago. Got lucky enough in my terminal assignment to come take command here before retiring in the area. Worldwide experience in leadership and major budgeting. Some of the thorny problems that we've had to confront as a nation and as a state. So I'm used to working in rather sticky situations, some of which, involved not so nice people. Hopefully, this will be a much nicer group of people. It always has been, and you've been very welcoming. I do applaud Andrea's efforts and everyone's efforts that I've, worked with over the last several years. Those of you who may also know that I brought Larry Turner to you about a year ago, a little bit more than a year ago, and worked through the Turner's campaign. I was a senior policy advisor. So many of the features that you saw on Larry's campaign were products of our discussions and our interactions with the communities across the city, and his advocacy for you and the things that you need and want as a city and as 50 communities. I represent those things. I intend to continue them, continue to advocate on behalf of the communities to the city on your behalf if elected chair.
Thank you, Eric. So I'm gonna move down to the vice chair and Chris sitting right next to me. So Chris, would you like to say a few words on your behalf?
Sure, I've served on numerous CPC subcommittees over the years. So this is the 8th year I've been a member of CPC, and I will term out at the end of the current term. And it's been a pleasure to have worked on things like the LDC update, multiple LDC updates, and particularly the success we had with the ADUs. So yeah, I'll stick with that.
Thank you. Wally, I see you out there also for vice chair.
Marlon, maybe you can answer the question. I'm considering drawing if Victoria becomes chair, we'll from the same time. I don't think it's appropriate. And I would endorse Victoria. And Chris was I'm sure.
Okay. I will go ahead and just read out with the letter. Unfortunately, she's not able to be here because of the death in the family. But she is still honored to be nominated for the position of vice chair of the CPC. Committee work and community service in general have been important outlets for me and no doubt my colleagues on this board to articulate the concerns of the community and formulate appropriate responses with clarity and civility. During my time here, I have taken up the opportunity to work with others as often as possible and have had the fortune of working on a couple of CPC ad hoc committees, including the Grand Jury ad hoc committee and most recently the ADU ad hoc committee. I am continually impressed by the number and quality of individuals who show up to contribute to community matters through the CPC platform. As we head into the next annual cycle, I encourage the CPC to maintain its pace in grappling with the issues affecting our communities and its posture before the city on the tough issues. In the spirit of full disclosure, my term on the Linda Vista Planning Group will expire March 2026. At this time, service beyond my current term is unknowable. I truly appreciate the vice chair nomination and the confidence it inspires. The list of nominees is impressive, and I fully support the selection this body makes for its next executive board. Great. Oh wait, I will give. Oh, Paul, do you want to say anything for your candidacy? I wanted to ask.
Sure. I mean, it's a pleasure to serve here and just be a part of trying to move the needle on to make this city a better place. But so I usually like to work in the background, so I'll shut up now.
So everyone take a second to vote. Michelle's gonna come around and collect them.
I did have a
They're
question
full
about
memories.
the book though.
Oh.
because Wally had said that he was, thinking of withdrawing. Yeah, Victoria voted. Do we want to do a ranked choice for VC, or do we want to have 2 rounds of ballots, or just one? Wing it?
One at a time.
One and done, okay,
All that fancy stuff.
okay.
I don't want to play ring choice. No, this is the owl box. Oh, it's the owl. Is this the fancy?
Yeah, it is fancy. We can use it as a ballot. See.
Use ballots. Oh, Andrea, you use.
And then we're the,
Oh, I'm still on the, I think I should, right? That makes sense. I'm not on the ballot. I'm not ready. Okay, in the meantime, Paul, would you like to explain to us going to, hybrid meeting?
Normal Heights, you know, community planning group has been doing hybrid meetings since, the pandemic. The pandemic forced everything to be completely virtual, but when we came out, Jim Barros was the chair at the time, and he suggested getting an owl device. I don't have the, I don't have a way to put this on the screen, but basically the owl puts a little strip across the top 360 of the room. So you have a general sense of being in the room, and then the lower pane will vary between a single and a double pane, depending on who's speaking. It kind of hones in on the person based on microphone triangulation. So that combined with the ability to record the meetings in Zoom lets us hold the session, then post the video on the website afterwards. We've only recently taken having members be remote and vote, which is usually, you know, it's just a roll call vote. So we just make sure to remember to ask, oh, so-and-so's on the Zoom. Do you have a yay, nay, or abstain? Beyond that, it's pretty simple. I think the biggest challenge in our community centers, the Wi-Fi isn't very fast. So sometimes I actually have to have the meeting over my cell phone, basically using the data channel on that. I guess other little caveats are we don't consider anything in the chat as part of the meeting. People can chat amongst themselves, but we always consider that sidebar. And we do try to take attendance, or at least an account of who's in Zoom. So we have a total number for who are the attendees in the room. I think attendance is a good measure in the annual report back to the city. Oh, yes, for technical failures, we halt a meeting if we are officially hybrid. Now today, we're just doing a pilot, so those participants view into the room. They can participate if we have if we call on them. If they raise their hand, we can call on them, and you'll hear them through the speaker here. In our Normal Heights community planning group, we also take the Zoom screen, we project it to the room. So there's very much a two-way street there. Today, we're not stopping for any technical reasons. If there's a problem with the Zoom, or they can't hear, or we lose connectivity, we'll just keep going because this is a pilot. Did I miss anything? Yes.
We're struggling with hybrid meetings because the technology takes a lot to make it work, but how expensive is that?
Retail is about $900. I got this one on eBay for $250.
It's feasible.
It's feasible, yeah. You do have to be careful with the refurb units because a lot of them have been dropped, so the lens is either cracked, missing, or blurry. So yeah, kind of take your chances if you're gonna go use. Yeah.
So will you have the ability to project? You, whatever one you.
Yes,
like hold the chorus up on the wall, or, you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah, this is
So you can.
basically this you see on my screen would just be
Yeah.
projected And then whoever's hosting the Zoom is also putting presentations like what Marlon has up.
Right.
And sharing their screens, so then we're sharing the screen to the Zoom audience and to the room on the projector. So,
But will we be able to see the Zoom participants? as
Yeah.
well? So,
Yes.
Like if they start speaking, we'll switch to their face, that's what.
yes, exactly. We oftentimes have speakers or presenters that are remote. In one case, we had an architect presenting plans and he was in Spain at the time. So it's very convenient for speakers to present because their face is on the screen, and then when they put their slides up, they're just presented right to the room on the screen. So it's fairly simple to manage. We also use a waiting room. So when people first arrive, they land in the waiting room, and if someone is disruptive or maybe they've got the TV on in the background, we can mute them or we can throw them back in the waiting room. Now, the rules of ejecting one person from a meeting is, we're really not allowed to do that per, public forum rules, but we haven't had to do anything like that. Which you can mute. We can definitely mute. Yeah.
We've done that, Sarah. Especially good for speakers that are coming in wherever they're coming from, they would rather not have to travel somewhere to talk like you do or whatever.
Yes. Yeah. They were really hoping that continuing the hybrid meetings would also allow working families to attend. Because not everybody has their evenings off.
Would they be able to participate in public comment via Zoom, like folks from,
Yes, they raise their hand, and then we just make them we let them speak, and then Zoom actually will automatically go to whoever the speaker is, and then they're on the screen.
What are the current requirements in the Brown Act for notice and well, it used to be that wherever a person was doing in the wrong, if they were a member of the CPC or whatever the public board was, they had to post that their location was also part of the meeting. Is that still a requirement now under the?
It is not. So we amended the council policy in 2024, and so we made changes to address that. So the meeting needs to be noticed per the Brown Act, but each say planning group member or CPC member does not have to post their teleconference location.
So we've also made it clear that our official posting is the notice on the door of the community center. And if it's not there, we will not hold a meeting. But we don't rely on the email we send, the PDF attachment, the notice on the website, all of that is extra. We did have someone that complained that we hadn't noticed properly via email, and said that's out of scope.
Well, it's state law says we have to post it on the website.
That's for legislative bodies, which this group and planning groups are not considered legislative bodies. But if you do have a website, please put it on the website.
Good question. So I want a little clarity, and I think you've answered it, but I want to just to clear. Physical posting for planning groups is required, hybrid or not.
Correct.
And website if we got it.
We do try to get our agenda out there just because it helps our attendance. So we'll put the agenda on our website, and then we'll distribute it via to our email list, which is about 400 to 500 people.
Okay, and then the other question I have was whoever's chairing the meeting doesn't have time to check hands and all that stuff. I'm assuming you have somebody doing that, keeping track of the order people call in or raise their hands or all that.
I've been chairing and running the technology at the same time, but I'll tell you, even being experienced with Zoom, it took me probably 3-4 sessions to really kind of get comfortable with it. And on some occasions I've had the secretary or someone else, I can do co-host. So someone else would actually even just be on their phone to admit people, latecomers, and sort of manage the crowd while I'm, managing the screen. Yeah.
So you definitely have to lecture your secretary.
Yeah. So at least under our operating procedures, board members can only attend 2 hybrid meetings out of the year. The other 10 have to be in person. So is that something that's just specific to each community groups?
Yeah, that sounds like a specific procedure that your group specifically has.
I'm interested from Normal Heights, what your experience has been pre-pandemic, when nobody did hybrid pre-pandemic, but now post-pandemic, what has been your attendance and participation rate? Do you know whether they get a lot more people coming in and watching proceedings, or is it pretty much the same people that show up, they would have to show up in person? What's been the experience?
I think overall, it's been challenging to get people to attend at all. I joined, my first meeting was during the pandemic, virtually. But there are a lot of frequent flyers, and they're typically retired people. So we've been working very hard to bring in younger renters. And I think we've been successful with that and getting them on the board. But I think the things that have packed the room have been our council person coming to the session for a Q&A, and in doing a themed meeting on mobility safety, whether it was cars, pedestrians, or bicycles. And the room was probably, I'd say, 1/3 bicyclist advocates, maybe not necessarily from our neighborhood. There was some contentious moments, but at the end of the day, it's like, if we get attendance and democracy and debate, I'm happy.
Yeah, I can also address, we've been doing hybrid meetings in university since April 2023. And it's been a generally good experience. The room we have is mic'd. So this has our meeting room is really designed for Zoom meetings as well as in-person meetings. And so we get a core group of non-board members who like to attend in person. But also we get a kind of rising and falling number of community members depending on the issue. And I think that's very valuable to have because, you know, for example, when we were doing the plan update, we had a lot of participation from community members that were interested in various aspects or what we were discussing at a particular moment. And since that took 5 years to do, it was a long process, but it is helped by hybrid meetings. All right, and so anyway, I think our experience is good, and we have attendance that's appropriate for the topics we're discussing, and that I think is the main version.
I had a question about the websites. Does the city help sponsor websites for the community plan groups?
We don't sponsor websites, but we do post as a courtesy your agendas.
I guess that's what I meant, so.
So yeah,
We send you minutes, we send you agendas, so somebody, your group, I guess, takes care of that.
yeah, our admin staff posts that.
How long does that take?
It could be done pretty fast, but it depends on current workload, like what they're working on at the time. So we've mentioned to the groups that we'd like to see an agenda maybe 7 days in advance of your meeting if possible, so we can get that up with the most amount of time.
Our group has come in and looked at the city website periodically just to see if we've missed any, because sometimes we send it and we might see February, March, and we need the April one in there. So every 6 months, maybe a year, we do a little catch up, make sure everything's posted.
And if I may add, like, the city is not responsible for the record keeping of agendas and minutes. That's the responsibility of each planning group. So whether you maintain those electronically or via hard copy, that's the responsibility.
Yeah, we understand now, we just had, I guess we weren't sure if we were supposed to do it, we thought it was a city side, so we couldn't be part of that. I'll check that.
Yeah, if you wanna send it to us, we'll post it.
So Marlon, if we send you our agenda like a week and whatever, a lot of times we end up updating our agenda, like more than 3 days, but you know, things people all of a sudden realize that they or something comes up. So we can amend it though.
Certainly, yeah, I think. Choice Valley would do that all the time with, and Andrea would have a revised agenda, so we would try to scramble to put that up as soon as possible. So we have the most current agenda for the public. So yeah, if you have a change, let us know that that's a change and we can get, we can get at that.
Okay, guys chime in, be culprits.
Sorry about that.
Pay attention to what the city does. We're gonna email with constant changes to the agenda up into the meeting. It's different for us, we can change it, as long as it's been posted, that the meeting's happening, we can modify it, what's happening within that meeting. We're gonna send it to us. What the city does.
Anyone else?
Feedback from the folks currently on Zoom, how well they can hear via this.
Yeah, they can hear.
Third part, the audio license.
In fact,
All right.
Lynn Edwards, well, you're here, also on Zoom.
No.
Maybe, Kevin Hastings. Can you hear us?
You're gonna let him talk?
Why don't you come off mute, just to,
I'm at the gym. You don't want me off mute, but I can hear you just fine. I did not hear Wally very well.
I
thank
agree.
you. That demonstrated the, speaker in the room.
That's good, yeah.
Yes,
We always check to make sure that the Zoom land can hear us and we can hear them. And we also have a little speaker thing that we attach to our projector that connects to Zoom and everything else. And we have to have people come up, we have a very soft spoken city council representative, and we have to have them come up and speak closer to them. It's like a microphone, so you could do that too.
Well, somebody, said that there's a comment on Zoom that you haven't, seen. Comment on the, you haven't seen.
is this from Stu Grass?
Might be, yeah, this is.
Yeah, like I was saying about, the chat not being part of the proceedings. Yeah.
That's
So
okay.
the comment, could be addressed by other people in the room. They can have their own crosstalk. And it doesn't
Right.
bother the meeting at all.
Right. So if they want to make a comment publicly to us, they need to actually raise their hand and do it. So that's some direction we need to make sure that they know that the comments are not gonna be read out to.
Right, right. And I've had times where someone on the Zoom unmuted and typed in and said, hey, so-and-so has their hand raised. And I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
So Marlon, I was gonna ask you a question. I know when we send agendas, the city, at least for Uptown, has a email list blast. You send out to, do you pretty much have those for all the community groups?
Not all groups. We do have a running, list via constant contact. So any individuals, whether it's planning group members or members of the public who are interested in a particular planning group's agenda or business would sign up on their own volition. And then we would go, when we go about sending the agenda in the minutes, we would click that list for a particular community, or for instance, like CPC, there's a chair list, a CPC list, and then like an all communities list that we select. And it goes to all those people, and then it's not redundant. I think if you're on those three lists, you only get.
Okay. And I know that I learned the hard way that we would send our agendas to be posted by the city on their website, but we didn't specifically ask for the email blast to go out. So you need to specifically ask for that. That's what.
Yeah, and encourage your constituents, your members to add their email to the constant contact. Always.
And then our experience again has been that this really does require a lot of attention and better technology than a lot of people have. If you don't have
the technology, you can have a lot of interruptions to your meetings from people complaining about not hearing. And or having, losing your Wi-Fi connection and having to stop the meeting. But I was gonna just ask the other questions because I haven't heard much about it lately, but is council considering any higher amount for each of the community planning groups? And at one time it was supposed to be 2,000, but
I know this group has asked, but I haven't got any information in regards to any increase in that.
because all this stuff costs money, and
Yeah.
so.
For Normal Heights, we split the cost with the Adams Avenue Business Association, so they paid for a third of it. And then we had one open slot for another third, but we didn't get a third part, so we paid 60% of it. The projector in the room is provided by the community center. And the Wi-Fi there is also from the community center. So those are the three critical pieces.
Fortunately, our community center we meet in has no Wi-Fi, so we're doing it all off of our phone hotspots. It's really spotty.
If it's plug-in ready, one good step, summary is noticed that grants it's available for grants. And I know the community association worked with the county years ago, the North Park Community Association worked with the county, and they have to set the website. So if it's something, a piece of equipment like that, you can also do your research and talk about it.
Okay. If anybody's interested in the technology landscape document that I have for Normal Heights, it explains all the layers and the workflow for posting our videos, because we post the videos into YouTube and then we link the YouTube into our website so that it comes out as a zero cost, because posting videos can be expensive. So we have a lot of workarounds that make it super cheap. And as Robin had her hand up and she has a comment. You want to call on her? Robin, go ahead. You had a comment about the recreation board.
Well, yes, so just so that you all know, in case you don't, because I attend the monthly Park and Recreation Board meetings, and they offer it via Zoom, like Paul is offering, and it's the city who provides their equipment to them. So perhaps the city would provide equipment for the CPC meetings.
That's a totally different department.
Yeah.
I'm gonna understand the technical problem in stopping the meeting piece. First off, how do you know somebody can't hear you or call in or whatever?
Our the times that we've had poor connectivity and it's choppy, the attendees have just tolerated it and then didn't really say anything. And just put up with it.
Right, so if you're having technical trouble, you're supposed to stop the meeting, but it's only if you know you're having trouble.
Right. If somebody, yeah, right. So then the question is, okay, somebody's in Zoom and it's choppy and they can't hear. The question is it them or is it everybody? Now, if we were to just completely lose connectivity to Zoom and it crashed out, then we'd say, okay,
Right.
we've lost our audience and probably some of our presenters.
It also sounds like the answer to this next question is no, but I'm gonna ask it. Have you ever had any people who are trying to disrupt the meeting, calling in and saying, I don't have connectivity, you have to stop?
Those people show up in person.
Anything else? Okay, great. Okay, so after the votes are tallied, Victoria, congratulations. You have been elected chair. And then Felicity was elected vice chair. So you will have a full female leadership board. I'm kidding. But I'll send you all of the stuff I have and I'll let Felicity know, and so best of luck, you'll cry it.
I do have to say that the timing of this was a little difficult because I'm actually leaving the country on Thursday.
Oh,
This
no.
Thursday. So my first meeting, I'm gonna have either you or
Felicity.
Felicity.
Okay,
So I'll be back right after the meeting.
okay,
There is a chance I might be flying back early, but I'm gone for almost a month.
Okay. Well, have fun. Yes.
Yeah.
From the.
So I might be able to do it, except
Yeah.
it'll be like 2 o'clock in
Yeah,
the morning.
exactly.
We'll
Don't
see what I
worry,
can
yeah,
work out.
don't worry about it, yeah, it'll continue on. Okay, great, any member comments? Yes,
I have another question about hybrid
oh, sure.
and attendance from out of the country. Is there any restriction on that?
No,
Marlon?
I'm trying to remember from back in the day, mentioned, being within the jurisdiction of, I think, the sea. I can find the exact language on that, because that came up a while back when we were on vacation with the Zach County. Yeah.
so many cities also said that as a precedent, right?
In terms of like.
Working remote from a cruise.
Oh, you mean, oh, that. Sorry. But then, I don't think on an advisory group, I think that's just a worker that's abroad.
I think we'll just assume you can do it.
Yeah. Oh, one announcement, the planning group annual training this Thursday, everyone. If you didn't get, a direct invite, I apologize for that. But we do have the registration link on the city's website, the community planning group resources webpage at the very top. It says planning group members registered here, click the link, and then you just get the information to sign in on Thursday. So, I hope to see everybody there.
It's at 5, right?
It's
I
at
know
5,
it's
5
at
and 7.
5. Sorry, guys. But 5 and 7.
Oh, and then if you can't
it's online.
join on Thursday, like Victoria's gonna be out of the country, there will be an online alternative training for everyone to take as a makeup, which you can do on your own time. It'll be based on like watching the video and filling out a questionnaire and then submitting that to us. So there you go.
Thank you.
And then I think for folks who are online challenged, we can work with you directly. I think for Guy, we could do a hard copy for now. You could fill that out. And you should be good to go.
You know, really, we have two people involved in this whole process. Really helpful, all the years we met in person, we've got a cup of coffee and a donut. And we got to see all the new people who are concerned about being sued, because that's going on every year, you know, the indemnification business. And getting away from that to this pure electronic way of communication, I think we're disenfranchising large groups of the city. So be it. Time marches on.
Any other member comments? Yeah, Friendship Bernardo.
If anybody's interested in the information that I received from the city on how you deal with a protest for the trash, if you threw away your page 6 of the 6th page mail, I have flyers I'm happy to be provided to you.
Okay, David.
So besides losing the chance of some people who can't avail themselves to electronic stuff, we are losing the ability to buttonhole people after the meeting, which I have done numerous times. Done it to John, we're going to do it to Victoria, I've done it to Marlon. That is an opportunity you lose by not showing up in person. And with that, I, as a former CPC chair, I wanted to say to our soon-to-be former CPC chair, we have a club. Thank you for your 3 years dedicated work.